With interest in electric vehicles growing every year, climate impact becomes ever more talked about. Removing emissions from a vehicle in theory only has positive impacts in comparison to traditional gas or diesel vehicles. However, the way in which energy is currently sourced may cause more harm than good. Welcome back to Autotech, and in this video, we dive into the climate impact of electrical vehicles and find out if EVs really are better for the planet. Sales of electric vehicles are rapidly increasing worldwide, particularly in countries like Norway, Iceland, and Sweden. In 2021, sales numbers doubled from the previous year, and the World Economic Forum suggests more EVs are sold per week than the entire number sold in 2012. The standard internal combustion engine market experienced significant declines in sales due to the COVID-19 pandemic, yet the EV market flourished. With more EVs on the road now than ever, some consumers wonder how these new vehicles impact the environment. For every positive, there must be a downside. The impact of the EVs can be grouped into two, the positive and the negative. But first, let's check the negative ones. The negative impacts on climate. EV chargers generally rely on electricity from power plants, many of which still use fossil fuels. This could be problematic in states like California, where the energy grid is already being pushed to its limit during the hot summer months. EV battery production can also adversely impact the environment. When sourcing materials for batteries, a loss of biodiversity, air pollution, and decreased freshwater supply can pose risks. EV batteries consist of materials like nickel, lithium, cobalt, and others, which are energy-intensive to mine. These minerals are also often mined in regions with a poor environmental record. Take, for example, the lithium mining currently happening in Argentina. According to Time, Argentina accounts for 21% of the world's lithium reserves, and plans are already in place to open 13 more mines, in addition to the 2 already in production. Many worry that mining could cause massive destruction, corrupt an already fragile ecosystem, and pillage the country's natural resources, all in the name of green progress. EV battery recycling methods are still in their early stages, but they're not specifically designed to be recycled. EV tires wear out faster due to the heavier weight and increased torque of the vehicles. The expected lifespan of EV tires is only between 30,000 and 40,000 miles. This means you'll be buying tires more often and thus contributing to increased emissions. EVs in certain circumstances can have an improved environmental impact versus conventional gas-powered vehicles. However, batteries, charging, and various manufacturing processes still negatively affect the environment. There are still more improvements to be made to the manufacturing process and sourcing of energy before EVs can be considered positive for the environment. Given the positive environmental outcomes associated with the transition to greener transport, electric vehicles can be seen as an integral part of the world's effort to address climate change. Governments of different countries promote electrically powered vehicles as the key technology that can limit oil use and combat climate change. In particular, President Biden is committed to expanding EV use in the United States and reducing gas-powered vehicles, known as remarkable contributor to GHG emissions in the country. The staff of The Morning notes that as of June 2021, less than 4% of the new cars sold in the U.S. were electric or plug-in hybrids. This data suggests that rapid change is needed to achieve Biden's goal. Technologically, it is feasible to replace most fossil-fueled cars with electric models. Nonetheless, as stated by the staff of The Morning, the question is whether an electric car revolution can happen in less than a decade. Both the possibilities and problems associated with this scenario should be examined, along with the impact on climate change. Gas vehicles versus EVs. For starters, it is necessary to identify the technology enabling a shift to greener transport and explore the difference between electric vehicles and conventional internal combustion engine cars. The number of electric cars, buses, vans, and heavy trucks on roads is expected to hit 145 million by 2030. Such market growth and increasing popularity are possible due to the advancing technology which enables manufacturers to produce more environmentally friendly vehicles. Generated environmental impacts are localized to the combustion of gasoline in the vehicle engine. Carbon dioxide is produced, which is known as a critical greenhouse gas, whose increased concentration in the atmosphere amplifies the natural greenhouse effect of the Earth. In turn, an electric engine can be defined as a machine that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy and consists of a rotating part, namely the rotor, and a fixed part, or the stator. There are electric motors of a direct and alternating current, and the latter is divided into synchronous and asynchronous. Asynchronous electric motors, in turn, are divided into ones with a short-circuited rotor and a phase rotor. Why switch to EVs? It's no secret that more countries are concerned about the threat of climate change. Some regions are already experiencing harsher weather conditions such as severe droughts, flooding, storms, heat waves, and rising sea levels. There's a growing demand to reduce global carbon emissions and create a more sustainable transportation sector. However, there is no one way to accomplish these goals. Various steps must be taken to mitigate climate change and protect the environment. For example, countries are focusing on transitioning to clean energy, which includes putting EVs on the road. Take California, for instance. It will officially ban the sale of all gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Additionally, many consumers are considering purchasing an EV due to global inflation. Research shows charging an EV costs an average of $0.105 per kilowatt hour, whereas the average price of gasoline is $4.06 per gallon. The EV market is growing as these vehicles and batteries become cheaper, consumers grow more environmentally conscious, and governments aim to cut emissions. Research from Fortune Business Insights suggests that market could reach over $137 billion by 2028. Positive impacts. EVs, by design, do not produce emissions like their gas-powered counterparts do. If the battery is charged by renewable energy such as solar, the electric car presents a green and positive option for the climate. Without the need for a combustion engine, there isn't a need for engine oil, which is generally bad for the environment. With the focus of EVs being better for the planet, many manufacturers opt to use eco-friendly materials whenever possible. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution nearly 150 years ago, greenhouse gas emissions have increased the amount of carbon in the Earth's atmosphere. In the last few decades, scientists have acknowledged that reducing these emissions may slow or even halt climate change. Despite the imminent benefits of reducing carbon emissions, it's not going to be a quick fix. One central area of focus in the United States and the world is the transportation sector. In America, motorized vehicles are the largest producer of greenhouse gases, both from a manufacturing standpoint and from an operational one. The emergence of EVs has offered up a promising step towards sustainable mobility by lowering harmful tailpipe emissions. But up until now, the impact of EVs has been very modest, as these vehicles comprise only about 1% of all passenger vehicles on the road today. The use of and disposal requirements for fossil-based products like motor oil simply do not exist for EVs. Therefore, many vehicle lubricants and fluids that may be of environmental concern in an ICE vehicle are not an issue for EVs. Internal combustion engine-based auto fluids, like oil, do not dissolve in water. As a result, motor oil, which contains toxic chemicals, can harm people and wildlife if improperly disposed of. Motor oil can foul wastewater treatment plants and septic systems if poured down a drain. Furthermore, oil spilled on land gets washed from the street into storm drains, leading to lakes, rivers, and streams. Because motor oil is heavy and sticky and contains an extensive concentration of toxic compounds, it can build up and persist in the environment for years. It's been established that there are both positives and negatives to electric vehicles. Further innovation could help manufacturers overcome some of the challenges, such as those found during EV production and end-of-life recycling, as well as charging times and sustainable energy sources, but only time will tell. Do you think that EVs can improve climate change by removing emissions from the car? Or do you think isolating all emissions to the power plant is more detrimental than good? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Until next time, thanks for watching Autotech.